Welcome back to the Titan Talk podcast as we are now on episode 12, which will be the first ever Titan Talk Awards here on the channel. We're going to get things started off here in just a little bit with announcing the nominees for Offensive Player of the Year, and we will be also announcing the winners for each category going down on the list. We have a couple segments to go through. We have the discussion post from earlier this week on asking people's thoughts on Ring of Fire as the touchdown song and seeing what's their thoughts on that, and going to go over that. And then we also have another segment where we will be going over the head coaching news that's around the world right now and the Mike Tomlin news, the John Harbaugh news, and everything considering the head coaching candidacy. And then we have also our other segment, which will be the predictions for the divisional round of the playoffs going forward, as we have 4 games this week. As I went 6-0 on predictions this week, which I am surprised by. And let's start off reading off the nominees. First off, we have the first nominee, quarterback Cam Ward, tight end Chig Okonkwo, wide receiver Chimere Dike, running back Tony Pollard, and then second string tight end Gunnar Helm. And we're going to start off with reading backwards who has the least amount of votes and go off into first place. So we have 2 people tied for last place, receiving 0 votes, which was Tony Pollard and Gunnar Helm. And then in third place, we have Chimere Dike getting 1 vote for Offensive Player of the Year. And in second place, we have Chig Okonkwo getting 2 votes. And last, but certainly not least, the winner of Offensive Player of the Year, Cam Ward, with 17 votes total, getting the first ever Titan Talk Award, getting Offensive Player of the Year. Who did y'all vote for, and what was y'all's thoughts on Cam Ward coming out on top?
Voted for Cam Ward. I thought all 3 of those guys, besides Cam Ward, did have great flashes offensively. But when you talk about the guy who's centerpiece for the Titans offense, it was Cam Ward. Take a look at, last week, week 18 versus Jacksonville. Titans offense was clicking. Cam Ward went down and we couldn't do anything. It just shows you how valuable he is for the offense. I voted for Cam Ward and I think he's the rightful winner.
I agree. I voted for Cam Ward as well. Basically for the same reasons. Also, we got 3,000 plus yards on the year. Most for any rookie, Titans quarterback in the franchise. He did really good on that end of the playing field. He also literally just carried our offense the whole year with some really good rushes, a lot of good crossbody throws downfield, and he was just dominant for our offense. So that's why I chose Cam Ward as well.
Yeah, I did as well. I think that he performed probably the best out of his offensive team, and the only other person that I really had that I would have picked would be Okonkwo, but we'll save that for later.
Yeah, next we are going to move over to the next category here for the second Titan Talk Award here. We have Defensive Player of the Year, which we got 21 total votes. Earlier for Offensive Player of the Year, we had 20 total votes. For Defensive Player of the Year, 21 total votes. I'm going to read the nominees now. We have linebacker Cedric Gray, defensive or edge rusher Jahad Ward, cornerback Marcus Harris, safety Amani Hooker, and defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons. And for this one, I'm just going to read off the winner because all the votes went to one person here for Defensive Player of the Year, and that was none other than Jeffrey Simmons, winning Defensive Player of the Year, getting a clean sweep here over all the other guys, and I completely agree there. He was pretty much the focal point of this team throughout all year. Yeah, he missed a couple games, but he was strong ever since then throughout that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Jeff Simmons, he is a dog. All pro honors. I don't know if there's a guy that means more to a football team than what Jeffrey Simmons means to the Tennessee Titans. He won the Walter Payton Man of the Year. He gives back to Nashville. He's an integral part of the community. I think he's coming off of his greatest season so far, and he is the unanimous Defensive Player of the Year for the Tennessee Titans.
Oh yeah, he had some really good sacks, really good defensive plays, stopping the offense in pivotal positions. Again, being the professional he is, he also gives, back to the community. That's a great thing. Nashville, there's people there that need help, and he's giving, he's generous, and that's a great look for him. So all that considered, he definitely deserves Defensive Player of the Year.
Now moving into Offensive Rookie of the Year. This one we had the most votes so far. We had 30 total votes here. We have, starting off with the nominees, we have running back Kalel Mullings, wide receiver Chimere Dike, wide receiver Alec Iamaner, tight end Gunnar Helm, and quarterback Cam Ward. And for the winner of Offensive Rookie of the Year, it is Cam Ward winning Offensive Rookie of the Year, getting 21 of the votes. We had Chim coming in second with 7, and then Alec and Gunnar both coming in at third, tied with 1 vote apiece. Who did y'all vote for Offensive Rookie of the Year?
I voted for Chimere DK because I knew that I was going to be voting Cam Ward for a lot of things so far in this awards, and I thought that Chim DK was probably the best offensive rookie offensively. I mean, I guess now that I think about it, I can understand why Cam Ward deserves it better because Chim DK was more important in the special teams aspect. Had I had my vote back, I probably would have put it on Cam Ward or maybe Gunnar Helm. But any of these guys deserve it.
That's a good point. I voted Cam Ward for a bunch of the obvious reasons previously stated. He's, just such a pivotal player on offense. Again, when we lose him, we absolutely couldn't do anything to get the ball down the field on pivotal drives. And he is just that X factor that really plays a difference. And I think, he's going to be a part of the franchise for the Titans going forward. They're going to build this team around him. And if you're a player that an organization builds the team around, I definitely think, and you're a rookie, you deserve that award for sure.
Yeah, I also voted Cam Ward, and I think that it's pretty obvious out of the players that were nominated who really did carry the team, and he really doesn't look as much like a rookie as someone who's had a lot more experience under his belt because he's been outpacing a lot of the league, and I feel like going from here forward, he's only going to get better, and we'll see how far he can take it.
Yeah, that's great takes there. As now we're going to take a break from the awards part of the show and move into our first segment, which is our discussion post this week, as we will be going over y'all's thoughts on Ring of Fire, as it being the touchdown song here for the touchdowns here in Nissan Stadium, and it looks like it will be going forward, which I personally think it should be. We'll get into that here in just a little bit, and we're going to jump over to that right now. Now, moving into our next segment here, as we will be going over the discussion post for this week, which is your thoughts on Ring of Fire, and what is your thoughts on Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash as the Titans touchdown song, as it has been for the past 2 to 3 seasons. We're going to first off give our takes on that, and then get on to y'all's comments. And first off, I think it is fitting. I don't think there's any other song that can match it. The Titans logo is literally a ring of fire, and it brings in country vibes just like what Nashville is. You get a country legend like Johnny Cash singing through the stadium, and the trumpets, whenever they score a touchdown, they have the guys playing the trumpets at the top of the lower bowl, and it's live trumpets, and it just sounds great. It's a great atmosphere to be in when they score a touchdown, and I do not think they could pick a better touchdown song. What's your thoughts, Luke?
My thoughts, you made a great point with the Titans logo literally being a ring of fire. I could not love Ring of Fire anymore. I think in the new stadium they're gonna have like an actual ring, the LED board. It's gonna go into like a flame and Ring of Fire literally when the Titans score. The trumpets are absolutely incredible. Johnny Cash, born raised Nashville. He's lived here his whole entire life. The Man in Black. I mean, they lived on Old Hickory Lake until he died. He's just a staple of country music, a staple of Nashville. I don't see how you can have a problem with it. That's one big thing. I just do not see the debate there. And I know there's a lot of guys who and still is one of them. Doesn't like Ring of Fire, and I could not disagree more. I don't think there is a better song that the Titans could possibly pick than Ring of Fire.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely agree. The New Orleans Saints, they have When the Saints Go Marching In, right? That's literally their team. Their teams have to have some sort of character. And what is the character of Nashville, right? Nashville is Music City. We have Music Row. You go down Broadway and you can hear 12 different bands playing at once. I mean, there's nowhere else in the country you can almost have that happen. Probably besides like Houston or New Orleans, right? So I love Johnny Cash, right? I also know the trumpet players that play the trumpets, and I think it's just such an iconic. No one else has really live people, live music playing during their songs. So like, if they were to get rid of that, they honestly don't have a heart for Nashville, and I think you just need to get up and leave, in my opinion, because you really don't know the history of our town. So that's my take.
Yeah, I really like the song, and I think it's pretty fitting. I could see some people's complaints with it not being the best song, but I think that it's definitely way up there compared to a lot of other touchdown celebration songs. And I think that if you're going to get mad at Ring of Fire, you should go listen to some of these other songs that they're
Yeah,
playing.
for real.
Just, I think that this one is one of the least problematic, or like least like one of the most fitting songs in my opinion for the team that they play it for.
I agree. Now we're going to move into y'all's comments, as I just want to tell y'all right now, we are heavily in the minority on this topic, apparently. First off, we have the Titans rundown. Nominee for Content Creator of the Year. You'll get into that. We'll get into that results here in a little bit. The Titans rundown says, it's not my favorite, but I don't hate it as much as everyone else. So,
You know, all these people who are hating on the Ring of Fire, did any of them give any suggestions on different songs? Like, look, I
Yeah,
understand
yeah.
there might be some bias. Like, literally, all of us are in our late teenage years, early 20s, and we live like right around Nashville.
Hmm.
So, like, I can understand how there's a little bit of bias. We probably all like country music, but still, it's just such a great song. And like Boston said, it literally fits Nashville and the history of the Titans.
yeah, I agree. I mean, we'll get into. There's a couple comments that are actually giving suggestions, and we'll get into if we agree on them or not. But
Oh boy.
next off, we have Arlen underscore 615. He said it's not good. It's never been good, and it will never be a good touchdown song, which that is crazy in my opinion. I
Bro.
disagree with every three of those takes, to be honest. What's y'all's thoughts on that?
Okay, first, all I gotta say is honestly, if you're like kind of disliking like Johnny Cash and the whole aura of him, and you call yourself a Tennessean, that's basically the equivalent of saying Dolly Parton sucks, right? She is such a staple of Tennessee, and Johnny Cash is too. Like, if you're gonna say that, just get out. Like, if you don't like the Titans or not the Titans, but if you don't like that touchdown song, and you don't think it fits Tennessee, then bro, what do you even mean? That's crazy.
Yeah, moving into the next comment, we have another nominee for Content Creator of the Year. We have Titan Report Podcast. He says, I like it and I don't have a problem with it whatsoever. Which we have one guy on our side finally, which we can all agree there. Next comment, we have not underscore Jack Longley. He said, get rid of it. Which,
Well, that's
He's straight
short.
into the point, so
oh, this.
Even if you don't like Johnny Cash, even if you don't like the lyrics to the song, the trumpet
Yeah.
instrumental is enough to like that should be an if you these people who are saying this, I don't think they've been to a Titans game since the Titans have started playing Ring of Fire because it is just electric whenever they score a touchdown.
Yeah, cue the sound, Boston. That's what he's talking about. I mean, there's nothing that can match that type of hype in a stadium whenever you score a touchdown. So, I don't know, but moving into this next comment, we have a very different username here. We have Floppy the Bird 67. He said, horrible. Like there are so many better ones.
Once again, name one.
Yeah, name
Like
one.
if you can
Yeah,
name me a
yeah. Name
song,
one.
I think that one's better. Okay, but don't say there's so many better ones and then not give a single one that's better.
Yeah.
Moving moving into the next one, we have Dale Moore 007. He says it's not terrible, but there are better options that fit Nashville better. Maybe a new song with the new stadium. There again, I don't know. I can't think of a single song that fits Nashville better, and another song that does not fit the team better. I don't know. I don't know.
That and Ben's that they're putting the Ring of Fire up in the new stadium. I don't think
Yeah.
that's going to go anywhere.
Yeah. I think that with
Literally.
them adding that Ring of Fire, they should at least give it 1 year with the new stadium, see how they like it, and then this should maybe be a thing that is brought up later whenever people get to experience it all together.
I
Good
think
point.
I also seen they're supposed to like have a circle of flamethrowers that kind of circle around too with the LEDs. So that's gonna be crazy to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to let the vision come through before people start blowing it apart.
Yeah.
Fair.
They're
Next,
torching it too much.
next they have one Titans fan, 2024. He says, "I don't have a problem with the song itself. I just don't think it's a fit for the Titans. I think they should use the theme song of the Remember the Titans movie as the touchdown song."
I don't know what that is, but I mean that's a cool thought. On that's
Yeah.
that's more unique actually. I can see where you're coming from, but I don't think it's better than Ring
You
of
know,
Fire. But
I agree with Boss. I don't think it's better than Ring of Fire, but they did this. If you remember back into the Tennessee Titans 2019 playoff run, that was one of the things that was like from the win win game the whole entire time. They were playing that in Instagram packages and stuff like that. I think they even had a walk over the pedestrian bridge to the stadium, like a fan walk where everyone was doing, everywhere we go, oh, people want to know who we are. So that was a great idea, and I think they used it as a hype package before too. So while I don't agree that they should change the song from Ring of Fire, I absolutely agree with the suggestion 100%. They need to find a way to incorporate that too, because it is great.
yeah, that is cool.
Yeah. I have seen one thought on this. I forgot who it was. They said they disagree with it being a touchdown song. They think it should be a kind of song that's played throughout the game, maybe on third downs. I forgot who it was that was mentioning that, but they thought it'd be a good song to play in third downs or right in between the third and fourth quarter when it's going into the fourth, which that's not bad, but I really think it should be the touchdown song, and it just really fits Nashville as a whole.
I agree. Yeah.
Now we are going to move over to the next winner of the Titan Talk Awards. We have up next Defensive Rookie of the Year. We have our nominees, which are safety Kevin Winston Jr., cornerback Marcus Harris, cornerback Micah Robinson, edge rusher Femi Aladejo, and then defensive tackle Cam Horsley. So, and the winner of Defensive Rookie of the Year will go to Micah Robinson, getting 13 votes here for the Defensive Rookie of the Year. There was 31 total votes. He got 42% of those. Second place, we had Kevin Winston getting 9 votes, and then Marcus Harris getting 6, and then Femi Oladejo getting 3. What's y'all's thoughts on the Defensive Rookie of the Year results?
I voted for Marcus Harris. I think it is criminal that he at least didn't get top two. I think, yes, he had the most mistakes out of any of these guys because he had the most playing time out of any of these guys. He had the most meaningful minutes out of any of these guys. I think he was tested. And while, yes, he was by no means the best player in the secondary, he was still, I think, deserves Rookie of the Year just because of the meaningful minutes and the way he was able to provide and switch in when players went down, like Lynette, Jarius Sneed, and the guys who got injured throughout the season.
Who? We'll get to that here in a minute, but what's your thoughts on that?
I don't know the Titans defensive roster as good as I know the offensive. Like again, I'm a Broncos fan, but I think Micah Robinson, I did vote for him just because I knew who he was from, the Packers. Like Luke said, he didn't have as much playing time as Harris. But he did have some meaningful minutes too. I didn't have as much of a knowledge on that, but I gave Robinson my vote just because I knew who he was. I knew his name. So
Next up, we are going to go over Special Teams Player of the Year. This was another clean sweep here. We had 21 total votes. Nominees were kicker Joey Sly, punter Johnny Hecker, long snapper Morgan Cox, kick returner Julius Chestnut, and then kick returner Chimere Dike. It was to no surprise of anyone. We have the winner of Special Teams Player of the Year going to Chimere Dike, getting all 21 votes. I mean, there's nothing really to add. He deserves it, getting 2 or 3 return touchdowns. So I agree. What's y'all's thoughts on that?
Once again, an all pro. To honestly take everything I said about Jeffrey Simmons and apply it to Chimere Dike. He was an all pro. He was the most dangerous kick punt returner in the league this season. Probably the most dangerous one since a rookie, Devin Hester. Dare I say it. He was absolutely electric offensively and special teams wise. An absolutely unanimous special teams player of the year.
yeah, seeing Chimere Dike on offense on some of the highlights he was good, but then I remember seeing in some of the games, the kick returns, those touchdowns, that's super rare to get, and to get 2 or 3 of them in a season, I mean, you have to be electric, like Vic said. You have to be making those really quick decisions. You only have milliseconds to make, to know what route you're gonna take with the blocks you're given. And he definitely deserves it. Joey Sly, he's good. He's a good kicker. He's not bad. But yeah, I voted for DK as well, just because of how pivotal he was in those kick returns. You can't ask anything more out of him.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on the Special Teams Player of the Year, Evan?
Yeah, I also voted Jameer DK because I think that out of all the special teams, he was probably performing the best right behind Joey Sly. Joey Sly isn't awful, but I think that the kick returns were pretty good, and I think that he's a pretty good fit.
I agree. Next, we're going to move into Comeback Player of the Year. I really struggled to think of nominees for this category because really we had nobody coming back from anything. We was terrible all year, so first up we have linebacker Cedric Gray. He came back from missing the last 3 to 4 games last season. Then we had safety Kevin Winston. He was injured coming out of the draft, missed the first 5 to 6 games, ended up playing well. Then the third option, we have L'Jarius Sneed. He was on IR almost all the last season, came in, played the first 3 games. He came back from IR, but then he went right back on there after 4 games. So, yeah, next we're going to give the winner for Comeback Player of the Year. There was 22 total votes. We had in last place, I'm surprised he got a vote, to be honest. L'Jarius Sneed getting 1 of the 22 total votes. Second place, we had Kevin Winston Jr. getting 2 of those votes. And then the rest of them, Cedric Gray getting the win for Comeback Player of the Year of 19 total votes. And we have Cedric Gray getting that award. As we're going to move into these last few categories here in the Titan Talk Awards, we're going to move over to Coach of the Year here. Not a lot to go off of here. We got 34 total votes on this one. I think it's one of the most votes that we got on it. The nominees here, we got quarterback coach Bo Hardegree, former head coach Brian Callahan, defensive coordinator Denard Wilson, interim head coach Mike McCoy, and special teams coordinator John Bones Fossil. So we have the winner of Coach of the Year for the Titan Talk Awards. It will go to John Fossil, the special teams coordinator, getting 26 out of the 34 votes. Second place, we had Mike McCoy getting 5 votes. Third place, we had Denard Wilson getting 2 votes. And I'm surprised this guy came in fourth, but he did. we got Brian Callahan getting 1 vote for Coach of the Year and Bo Hardegree getting none. What's y'all's thoughts on that?
So, hard agree, man, he was pitiful. He was not good. Denard Wilson was not good. Brian Callahan was not good. Mike McCoy and Jones Bones Fossil, I really don't think they were that great either. I think it's going to be a complete turnover, but here's who I voted for and why. I voted for Mike McCoy. And I understand that that's a very unpopular opinion. I do think he brought some culture to this team. I think he did make some mistakes. He was a little too conservative in his game calling and what he wanted to do and stuff, which was a mistake. But overall, I think he brought a better culture to this team. This team was more organized. This team was able to win games. Cam Ward really improved. If you take a look at it, after the first couple of weeks of Mike McCoy, he has really. That's when his season sort of started to take a roller coaster and start going up in the scales. And Jones Fossil, was it really his great designing and great blocking coordinating that gave Chim DK all these yards, all purpose yards? I think Chim DK just outran guys and ran through guys. Johnny Hecker really disappointed me this season. I don't think Joey Sly was great. I don't even think he knew Joey Sly's range and stuff like that. I didn't think Joey Sly disappointed me. Um, Other than Chim DK, that's really all I can say so far good about the Titans special teams. And yeah, he's an all pro, but still, I don't think Jones Bones Fossil deserved this one.
I chose Mike McCoy as well, with Luke there. Like I said earlier, with the interim head coaching, I think it's good that they gave him an option, for an interview. It's not that he's like crazy good, he did the best consistency out of this whole coaching staff that anyone else did, right? He brought way more organization than Brian Callahan did. He had a little bit more culture than Brian Callahan. I didn't even know who the special teams coordinator was till I saw this roster for the voting. I didn't even know who Fossil was at all. So I chose Mike McCoy, and we did win some games under him, so that's why I chose him primarily. And to win games is not bad. Brian Callahan only won one game, Uno, so that was horrible.
And we shouldn't have won that game.
Yeah, it was versus the
Yeah.
Cardinals with the craziest plays on both ends of the field. It was nuts.
Yeah, for this one, I also voted Mike McCoy because I feel like Fossil, he overall, in my opinion, has the easier job. DK, he got those on his own, I feel like. And him not really knowing the people that he was utilizing, and then just the other people that McCoy was facing in these picks. It's a miracle Callahan got even one. I think that he got on an account and came over here and voted because there's no other way he should have got this. But McCoy, I'm surprised didn't win this. He was an all right coach. He's pretty new to this. He did all right. He got a few wins that he actually did deserve, unlike Callahan. And he was just an overall pretty average run of the mill coach. And I could see him possibly in the future doing pretty good. And he would, I think, be a good fit for one of those teams that's looking for a coach if he doesn't get it with the Titans.
Yes, so next we're going to move into our next category here. It is Game of the Year. We got 15 total votes here. We got the nominees for Game of the Year. We have Titans at Broncos week 1, Saints at Titans week 16, and then Chiefs at Titans week 15, and then Titans at Browns week 14, I believe, and then week 5, Titans at Cardinals. And the winner for Game of the Year, this kind of surprised me, to be honest, it is Titans at Cardinals winning Game of the Year, getting 8 of the 15 votes. Second place, we got Titans at Browns with 5 votes. Third place, Chiefs at Titans with 2 votes. And then the Saints and Broncos games both coming in last with 0. What did y'all vote for that?
I voted for Titans Cardinals. Like Boston said earlier, it was just some of the craziest things I've ever saw in football happen in that game. Titans end up getting the first win. Absolute cinema, as the youngsters might say. Who I voted for.
I voted for the Titans at Cardinals as well. Thinking about it, I might change, I might have changed my vote to the Titans at Broncos for the season opener. It was actually a really entertaining game at first. It was actually really close. I remember watching that game and be like, wow, the Titans are actually kind of keeping up. And then, the usual Titans declined in the second half. But I thought that Cardinals game, was genuinely insane. We haven't seen something like that in a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also voted Titans at Cardinal. So I remember when me and Nate were on vacation just watching this. Watching that was the most cartoonish touchdown I think I have ever seen. And just that game overall was a big joke. I think that both of those teams looked like they were trying to lose that game, and it made it hilarious and probably one of the best funny games that I've ever watched.
I
So
remember ever since that Amari DeMarcado fumble at the 1 yard line, it was all downhill from the Cardinals there. We had Kyler
yeah,
Murray getting hit in the head with the ball by the snaps and going like that as soon as the ball snapped. We have guys running backwards 5 yards on the Cardinals. I don't know how they lost that game, but okay. That's why I do not want Jonathan Gannon here. Hence
No.
that. But yeah, that was a really crazy game there. And fun fact, if the Titans would have lost that game, we would currently have the number 1 pick. But here we are, number 4. Moving into the next category, we have fan favorite player of the year, I guess you would call it. We have 31 total votes on this one. Read the nominees now. It is quarterback Cam Ward, wide receiver Mason Kinsey, linebacker James Williams, defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons, and Luke's favorite of them all, wide receiver Xavier Restrepo. And the winner for fan favorite of the year is wide receiver I'm just kidding. It is actually quarterback Cam Ward getting 20 of the 31 votes, got 65% of those. Second place went to Xavier Restrepo getting 9 of the votes. Third is we have a tie for third place between Jeffrey Simmons and James Williams, both getting a vote apiece, and Mason Kinsey getting 0. What is y'all's thoughts on that?
Finally, some credibility installed back into the voting, the democracy platform of these awards. Finally, the people I get to enlighten, be around some intelligent Titans fans who realize that this bum receiver out of Miami is nowhere near fan favorite. He's nowhere near good. He's going to be a no-name, forgotten player. You're not even going to remember he existed in 5 years.
Wow. Wow.
I voted for Cam Ward. He is my favorite. He is the fan favorite. Give me our QB1.
Well, to go on a different note, I voted for Xavier Restrepo. I actually liked watching him play, and it's part of this clout and hype that I want to see him play more, I want to see what he's got. I think he actually is a lot more in the tank than people think, and he hasn't been given the opportunity. Most everybody is clowning and dogging on him, but I voted for Restrepo. I think he's going to do something. That's why he's my fan favorite.
You're losing all your credibility, Boston.
Hey, I'm a Broncos fan.
yeah, I want Luke to take a guess on who I voted. I voted for the one, the only Weapon X, Xavier Restrepo. I think that with his history in Miami and then him coming to the Titans, not getting his shot, and then finally at the end of the season deciding they were going to bring him forward into next season, I think this is going to be one of the bigger comeback stories. I think that next season he will be comeback player of the year, and I think that Luke is going to eat his words. I think that Cam Ward got it. He is the number 1 pick. He was who everyone had their eyes on, but seeing how Restrepo was this close to Cam Ward, having 29% of the votes behind the number 1 pick at 65, should show you that the fans do enjoy seeing Restrepo out on the field the little bit that he is, and they want to see more of him.
Yeah, before we get into predictions, Luke, I want to get your thoughts on that. What's your thoughts on Xavier Restrepo getting a future contract here, moving into training camp and preseason?
Doesn't matter. He's not going to make the roster.
He'll be on the practice
Oh.
squad at least.
Hey, in practice, he is looking way better than Ridley
Heck,
and some of the other starters.
give Evans some pads and a helmet and a cup, and he can probably make the Titans practice squad. I mean, guys, let's not rush to put him on Mount Rushmore or anything yet. Seriously, it's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. I think we need to hold ourselves to a higher standard than to keep talking about this guy. I don't even hate the man. I'm not even a Restrepo hater. I just don't think he's good at football.
Put the graphic on top of it right now. Number
Restrepo
one,
hater.
Restrepo hater.
Right there.
Yeah.
But now we're going to move into getting our predictions for the divisional round of the playoffs. We're just 3 weeks away from Super Bowl 60, as we got one more round to go through after this week. If we have the divisional round, we're going to get into right now. So I'm guessing we can just skip the results for that because I didn't look back, to be honest, unless y'all know y'all's picks off the top of your head.
Nah,
No.
I don't really care about it.
Yeah. All right, y'all ready to run it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Starting off with our predictions for the divisional round of the playoffs, we have first up, it's Saturday starting at 3:30. We have an AFC divisional round playoff game. We have the number 6 seed Buffalo Bills traveling to Denver to take on the 1-seeded Denver Broncos. Who do you have here, Luke?
Josh Allen, man. I think I went into this game. I think I said that if the Bills were going to beat the Jags, Josh Allen would have to have just an unbelievable game, and that's exactly what happened. Josh Allen just took that game over. I don't necessarily think that the Broncos have Super Bowl DNA, but I think their roster is just more complete than the Buffalo Bills, which is why I'm going to pick the Broncos.
You know what? I'm going to disagree with you. I think after watching how Josh Allen played, and he's pretty much the heart and soul of that team, and he really shined in that game against Jacksonville. Haha, Jaguars sent them home packing after their fans thought they was going to the Super Bowl. See y'all next season. But we had yeah, take that, one guy in the comments section that was trying to tell me they was going to the Super Bowl. But yeah, watching that Jaguars game, Josh Allen had that 11-yard quarterback sneak. That was insane. That was crazy to see. But honestly, yeah, I got the Bills here. I think the Bills will go on to the AFC Championship game, and I also have another hot take on who they will be facing in the AFC Championship. But who do you have, Boston?
You already know I'm going to be biased, but actually coming from a football standpoint, right, I completely agree with Luke. I actually think the Broncos are way more consistent. There's a reason why they ended up in the number 1 seed, and there's a reason why the Bills ended up in the number 6 seed, right? I think the Broncos have way more depth. You look at their roster, our defense, has fallen off a little bit, but they were consistent. There's a reason why we only lost a couple games this season. I believe we only lost 3, right? And so I genuinely think the Broncos with Bo Nix is going to be the more consistent quarterback in the playoffs, even though Josh Allen has a number of years on him. We look at the Bills in the playoffs, and, sadly, they've always fell short, and I don't think that's going to change. So I'm going to pick Broncos going into the AFC Championship game.
All right, I'm going to admit here first that the Bills did really prove me wrong this last week. I thought that this whole season they had looked very average. They were not performing like the Bills that we knew. But seeing Josh Allen perform his playoff magic that he had. And with that 11-yard quarterback sneak and how he was playing this game, I could really see that he's really pushing for this. But I do feel that the Broncos have an overall better team. I think that they are a better defense than the defense that he just faced. And I think it is going to be his offense versus their defense. And that's going to be what determines it. But I feel like the Broncos offense is going to have a field day over the Bills. So for that reason, I think that the Broncos are more well-rounded and will get the Bills and move forward.
Yeah, moving moving into the next game, we have it's Saturday night, 7 o'clock. Moving towards the NFC side of the bracket, we have the 6th seed San Francisco 49ers getting that big win over the Eagles, traveling to the 1 seed and the Seattle Seahawks, who turns out to be a top 5 team, by the way. Who do you have, Luke?
Seattle did actually turn out to be a top five team, which is pretty insane. I'm rooting for the 49ers, but I'm here to pick who I think will win the game. And the 49ers, they lost George Kittle. Purdy really didn't look all that special. It's just the Eagles had such a bad offense. I think they really got gifted to win there, and I think the Seahawks are going to easily advance to the championship game.
I'm gonna disagree with you. I think out of the majority, this is the one I'm pretty much most confident in. Sam Darnold has really shown his inability to perform in a high stakes game. He's shown that with Seattle. Or not Seattle. He's shown that with Minnesota. The 2 seasons he made the playoffs with them, he really struggled, and I think he threw like 4 or 5 interceptions in one of those games, and when they was the 1 seed actually. So I got the 49ers here. Yeah, they did lose George Kittle, but their backups, that's not the worst backup tight end of all time. He's actually pretty good. And I think they move on and go to the NFC Championship game. And I did see a clip. I think it was Jawan Jennings. They was interviewing him after the game, and they asked him if he knows who they'll be playing next week, and they told him Seattle, and he says that's exactly who he wanted. And I think the 49ers get the job done.
It could go either way with my predictions. I think the Seattle Seahawks are probably going to win. I think they're probably going to outpace the 49ers. That's a little bit different of a prediction, but I think they'll have actually the pacing and I think just the conditioning will probably be a little bit better for them, just based on, they have some secondaries in from guys on the IR list, just like Kittle, tearing his ACL. That was hard to watch, honestly. I saw that in the game, but give me the Seahawks. I don't think this is an insane indifference. It could go either way, but that's what I'm choosing.
All right, and I'm going to go with the Seahawks also. I think that the 49ers, they are really good, but they are just plagued with injuries, as is showing last game when Kittle just got toted off the field. And I don't know too much about their backup tight end. I do know that McCaffrey is deadly right now, and I could see him having a really good game, but I think that the Seahawks are a really well-rounded team, and I still want to say that they are going to make the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, that's going to move us into the Sunday games, moving back into the AFC side in the AFC Divisional round at 2 o'clock. We have the number 5 seed Houston Texans traveling to the number 2 seed in the New England Patriots. Who do you have, Luke?
Man, whenever I talked about Super Bowl DNA earlier, this is one of the ones that I might shock some people. I think the Texans proved to me that just because of their defense alone, that they have the capabilities to at least make it to the Super Bowl. Drake May came off of his worst game so far in this 2025 season, and honestly, it is going to be a massive advantage for them playing in New England, but you saw how Houston handled the cold in Pittsburgh. I think CJ Stroud's going to get it together. If Nico Collins is back, I think it's going to really help him. Oh, give me Houston.
I'm gonna agree with you. That's what I was talking about. I mean, I really like the Texans' defense. I think they do have a legitimate chance to make the Super Bowl. I think Drake May really hasn't played that tough of a defense yet this season, as he's only played like two or three teams over 500 this season, and he really hasn't shown much against good teams. And I think this is where you kind of start to see the real Patriots, and I think you'll see them possibly exposed as frauds. And I think Vrabel will really much feel it here, and I got the Texans getting a really comfortable win over the Patriots.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm going Texans all the way too. You saw how the Patriots played the Chargers in that last game. It was almost 3-3 at almost halftime. That is horrible. If you're only scoring 3 points almost in a half, I know the Chargers defense was pretty good, That's why we're talking about the defensive coordinator possibly coming to the Titans. But with that being said, I think the Houston Texans will get a comfortable lead.
Yeah, both of these teams played pretty pitifully last week. I think that the Texans, they were all right. I do know that they had an interception or two or turnovers, right, Nate?
Yeah, they had a pick six and like four fumble recoveries, and they had a fumble recovery for a touchdown.
Yeah, and I do think that if they do get Nico, then they are going to start performing a whole lot better, like the Texans that we knew throughout the season. And they are still going to be my pick to go to the Super Bowl on this side, and I'm going to have them beating out this week and going to advance to the next round.
Yeah, moving into the last game for the divisional round, we have a really good game here. It is Sunday night at 5:30. We have the number 5 seed Los Angeles Rams traveling to the number 2 seed in the Chicago Bears. As I pretty much already know who you're going to pick, Luke. You're going to pick against the Bears as you always do, but let's hear it.
You want to get some views? Make a montage of the ways that I have lost picking against the Bears so far this season. It's freaking
We need
ridiculous. Did you
we
not
actually
see
need that.
the fourth quarter? The Packers have a lead. They have one of those statement drives at the end of that game, going down to there to score that touchdown with Romeo Dobbs to officially put it away, put a nail in the coffin, and Matt LaFleur calls run, freaking punt. And that's how I lose my pick. You know what? Screw it. Give me the Rams. Someone's got to do it. Someone's got to defeat these freaking Chicago Bears. I don't know if it's possible at this point, but if it is, it's going to be this week. Give me Matthew Stafford and the Rams. There is no strategic insight whenever it comes to this pick. It's all personal.
You know what? At the beginning of this video, I was going into the thought, yeah, I'm picking the Rams easily here. I think they're obviously the better team, but just because you picked against them, I got the Bears winning here, and it's going to be in the cold. It's going to be in cold Chicago. Matthew Stafford is 1-9 in games he's played in the cold, and I think that will really show here. And yeah, just based off the fact Luke said the Rams, I got the Bears. Who you got here, Boston?
I actually was strategically picking the Bears. Even though Caleb Williams didn't play the best in the quarterback position for the Bears, I think they will outsmart and outplay the Rams for sure. With it also being in the cold, that does play a factor. But I think the Bears defense ain't bad. They showed that they weren't the best. But the Bears offense, they're a very well-rounded team. So give me Bears for sure.
It's really funny that Nate said he picked the Bears just in spite of Luke. Because as Luke was going on his rant, all I could hear in my head is, hey, you were going to pick the Rams. Luke picked against them. Picked against the Bears. So I'm going to go with tradition and what the numbers say. And I'm going to go with the Bears just for pure statistics. I think the Rams are the better team. I think that they should come on top, but Luke picked them. So we're going to go with the Bears because the
You
Bears
know,
had that miracle, and I think they could pull it off again. And with Luke on the Ram side, it's very likely.
and I'm down pretty big in the picks, but I honestly, truly, and this is probably a fact, 100% fact, that I believe, have the Bears not had a freaking fourth quarter, then I would probably be up on both you, Nate, and you, Evan, by probably 5 games or more. If the Bears didn't have a fourth quarter of football to play, it's ridiculous. May God bless the Los Angeles Rams and Matthew Stafford.
As soon as I was watching that game, I noticed they were getting destroyed by the Packers, and then they probably at halftime just watched the video, seen you pick against them, and said, "All right, guys, let's lock in. Let's prove them wrong once again, one more time." And I don't know.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I don't know what
Always
went on with that game because I came upstairs and I realized the game was going, so I get on it at halftime. I saw that they were really beat down and they had like 3 points at the half. And I decided I was going to check my phone. And then I look up from my phone and it's fourth quarter and they're in the lead. And I thought, there goes Luke again.
I actually fell asleep from the second quarter on to literally the fourth quarter with like a couple minutes left, and I woke up and I was like, "What?" And I thought of Luke too.
Yeah, that was one of the craziest games of this season. And I just
Hmm.
loved it because it was two teams that I thought were absolutely like just garbage.
Yeah.
And they really surprised us.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Hmm.
Speaking of that, Luke, I am gonna get a video together of all the clips. I think that'd be a great idea,
Yeah.
just to see how confident you are every week building up to it, thinking they're gonna go 3-14, and
Yeah.
then they turn around and get the 2 seed just based off of your picks alone. But next, we're gonna move into our final two categories for the Titan Talk Awards. Up next, we have a really big one here: Content Creator of the Year. We had the most votes total in this one. We had a total of 108 total votes for this one. We have the nominees. We have our first ever guest on the Titan Talk podcast. We have Two Tone Talk, Brad Steele. And then we have RBT, famous Titans Madden YouTuber. Then we have another really good YouTuber, Titan Upload. We have another up and coming rising star in the YouTube world and the Titans stuff. We have the Titans Rundown, and then another also rising star in the Titans content creator world. We have Titan Report podcast. So the winner for Titans content creator of the year will go to the Titans Rundown, as he got 73 out of the 108 total votes. Big congrats to Micah McCamey there, getting a very great win over all these other great guys, as you know, he's really putting his name out there. I know he started writing articles actually for a certain section in Tennessee. He has a bright future ahead of him, and big congrats to Micah there. Second place, we got Brad Steele with 23 votes. Third place, RBT with 12. And then neither Titan Upload or Titan Report got a vote. So, yeah, that's a big congrats to Micah. And what's y'all's thoughts on Content Creator of the Year?
I voted for RBT just because at the point whenever I voted, he didn't have a vote for me yet, so I figured I'd give him a vote. So that's why I voted for him. All these guys are great. Another honorable mention is Titans Insider. I love his terrorist rankings, the ones he puts out every week. It's one of my favorite things to look at every week. But these guys are all good. I love watching all the Titan content. There's no wrong answer.
I need to include him next year in Content Creator of the Year. That's one that really blanked my mind, but he will be in the nominees for Content Creator of the next. You heard it here first. 2027 comeback. Titans Insider will be on the list. What's your thoughts, Boston?
I voted Brad Steele for Two Tone Talk just because, I actually really didn't know anyone else. Like I said, I'm not in this sphere a lot. But we had him on the show, and I've actually watched his other content, like his music stuff, and I thought he's a cool dude. He's chill, and he's the most relatable. Um, I just picked him because I thought he has really cool stuff. But again, no wrong answers. It's this ain't like life or death.
Yeah, as someone who doesn't watch a ton of actual like Titans content because I'm more into the Falcons and I don't watch many Titans creators and updates or anything like that. There's two or three that I actually do consistently watch, and one of them is Two Tone Talk, who I voted for. I like his relatable content, like Boston said, but I also like how he just lays stuff out. It's very simple, and I like the layout of his content, and for that reason, he got my vote.
Yeah, now we're going to move into the big one. The big award for the MVP for Titan, pretty much Titan of the Year here in the Titan Talk Awards. But now we're going to get into MVP voting. Nominees here is we have quarterback Cam Ward, defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons, running back Tony Pollard, tight end Chega Okonkwo, and wide receiver Chimere Dike. And for the winner of MVP in the first ever Titan Talk Awards, it will go to, in a 1-vote difference, Cam Ward getting the win, being MVP with 17 out of the 34 total votes. Jeffrey Simmons coming up just short in second place with 16 total votes. And then Chimere Dike getting 1 vote, and then the other 2 getting 0.
So I think I feel partly responsible for this, not because I voted for either Jeffrey Simmons or Cam Ward. I was the lone vote for Chimere DK. My reasoning being is when you take a look at the ways that both of these people succeeded, Cam Ward offensively and Jeffrey Simmons defensively, I think they both have a lot of Chimere DK to thank. For the field positioning aspect, Chimere DK was able to get the Titans points on the board, which lets the defense relax, which gives them momentum to feed off of. And offensively, he was able to give Cam Ward great field positioning, also being a weapon. He was able to affect not only special teams, but offense in a great way. And that's why I picked him for the most valuable player. But Jeffrey Simmons and Cam Ward also have great, compelling arguments. That's just why I went for Chimere DK.
So I went for Cam Ward. I thought he's the most valuable player for sure. I thought, he just led the offense, and everything else that we already said about him is what I think. So I thought an honorable mention. I thought Jeffrey Simmons is, he was one of my other choices if I didn't choose Cam. He's a great defensive player, a lot of good sacks.
Yeah, sadly, this one didn't have Xavier Restrepo as a choice. So I went with Cam Ward because he did show out and he had a great season. And he, yet again, doesn't really look like a rookie. He is passing, I would say, better than half of the NFL. And I could see him being a really big star, and I think that that was the right pick this year, and he really earned MVP.
I do want to say one thing. I did see earlier today Madden put out their new ratings for the guys out of the rookies. Out of the whole season, Cam Ward just went up by 2 overall. Tyler Shaw, or I can't ever remember how to pronounce his name. That Tyler guy and Jackson Dart. I think Tyler had like a +9 on his rating boost and is like 5 overall higher than Cam Ward. Jackson Dart got like 8+8 and he's almost in the 80s. Cam Ward's still sitting at like a 72 or 73, which is mind blowing to me. I think he should be at least an 80. So Madden got to get that right next year, but he's a rookie, so we'll see what goes on from there. But now moving into the next category here, we got what are we doing here moment of the year, as we have a lot of candidates to choose from here. First off, we have Brian Callahan not knowing the rule of a catch. We'll play that clip right here.
Yeah, you got to get a foot in bounds too. which we didn't have a clean look at whether his foot was down as well. An elbow doesn't equal 2 feet, so his foot would have had to come down as well. We didn't have a clean look, so the call from upstairs was that it wasn't more challenging. And challenging the play and what I said after the game. And look, ultimately, my interpretation of the rule was wrong. I'll own it. We should have challenged the play, and that's pretty much all I can say about it. Is I'll own the mistake. We should have challenged it, and that's where it stands.
On the Iron Manor play, I mean that rule has been in effect for a long time. I guess in retrospect, are you surprised yourself that you didn't know the correct interpretation of that rule?
Yeah, I think I got a little more clarity on it now at this point. At the end of the day, those things happen really fast, and then you're starting to get ready for the next play call, and you're waiting on information from what the look looks like. And look, I misspoke on it after the game, and I'll own that. I'm aware of the rules. I understand the rules. Just again, a mistake that I made that I gotta correct, just like I'd ask our players to.
So you say that you misspoke yesterday, but at that time you knew that one elbow equaled 2 feet.
Say that one more time.
So yesterday when you misspoke on the rule, you did know at that point that one elbow equals 2 feet.
At that moment?
Yes.
Yeah, I think at the end of the game, I was worried about a lot of the things that went wrong in the game, and the heat of the moment, the frustration of it after the game in the press conference, I think is, again, I misspoke. I'm well aware of the rule. I understand how it works. And the way that I articulated afterwards was incorrect. And, I understand the rules of this game pretty well.
And then next up, we have the infamous L'Jarius Sneed clip of the year. Nico Collins who? Nico Collins who? But that clip will be played right here.
Nico Collins this week. Who? Nico. Thank you.
And then up next, we have just lets the edge rusher run straight by to Cam Ward. You can see that replay right here. Then another one, which is probably I think the one I voted for, the end of half situation, week 3 against the Colts. That was mind-boggling. I don't know why that happened.
For them calling timeout, you got to get that figured out while the Colts had called timeout.
Well, he's looking over the sideline still, and now they're going to try a field goal. After all that, they'll attempt a field goal. Now, Slide did miss that last one at 64, but he's solid from long distance.
Right, and you're trying to obviously make it a one-score game. You always have to watch John Fossil, the special teams coordinator for the Titans, and Johnny Hecker for any type of fake. It looks like Franklin and the Colts are ready for it.
Yeah, Hecker has 16 completions. Oh, man. That's terrible. And I know it's still within his range, but you're making life a little harder now, aren't you?
It's absolutely unacceptable. The fans are booing, and they should be. I don't know what happened. Hecker, the holder, was trying to get them to reset the play clock. But we just went Colts timeout, Titans delay game on a field goal attempt. That might be a first.
They may have had the wrong football out on the field. This is going to be the longest. This could be the longest field goal in Titans history. It's a 62-yarder from the near hash mark. Good snap, good hole. Kick is on its right. It was deflected. It's going to be off to the left. It was deflected by Grover Stewart, who got his hand up. And the fans are not going to be happy about this.
And now the Colts get the ball where they missed it again. Watch right in the middle there, 90, Grover Stewart. He just got a fingertip.
Wow.
It looked like he ran over Jackson Slater, the rookie guard. Got a fingertip on it. Ball wasn't even close. And this is exactly what they were trying to avoid, Tom, with the way they were running the ball.
And then last but certainly not least, anytime Mike McCoy punted the ball on 4th and 1. So we're going to get into the results right now. We had 22 total votes here. We have the winner of What Are We Doing Here moment of the year will go to one of the two of Brian Callahan's nominations, which the winner is Brian Callahan not knowing the rules of a catch, getting 73% of the votes. And then second place goes to the end of half disaster against the Colts, one I was mentioning earlier. And then none of the other three got a single vote, surprisingly. Nico Collins, who, Dan Moore, or the Mike McCoy thing. So what's y'all's thoughts on that?
I voted for Brian Callahan not knowing the rules of the catch. That was just that was probably one of the worst ways to start a season off for a head coach. I mean, it was just a dumpster fire. How did he look, dude? I'm a very big football fan, but you get paid tens of millions of dollars and you don't know a rule to one of the most pivotal and important assets or things to go with football, which is catching the football. You don't understand the rules catch. It was really costing the Titans a lot of time in that game, if I remember right, and it really cost them. Cam Ward was super rushed on that last drive because the Titans had to punt the ball to the Denver Broncos because Callahan wouldn't challenge it. It was a great catch, he wouldn't challenge it. It was just, I was in disbelief.
I chose Brian Callahan, not knowing the rules of the catch too. I can't. It's hard in my mind to think that someone in a head coaching position literally doesn't know that. Like, it actually makes me scared a little bit that he got that job and that he didn't know what that was. I'm like, golly, a third grader who plays little league, flag football could tell you that, and it just blows my mind. So that was crazy.
Yeah, I voted Brian Callahan not knowing the rules of a catch also. It's ridiculous that you can get paid tens of millions of dollars and not know one of the most basic rules that is one of the first things you were taught when you learn to catch a football. And
Yeah.
I think Xavier Restrepo knows how to catch a football, and he's not getting that much field time. He knows all the rules. And I think that after doing that and after the dumpster fire that was Brian Callahan while he was here, I would be surprised if he does get another coaching job at another team, and I feel sorry for whoever picks him up.
Yeah, so do want to touch on one thing on that clip. It's hilarious to me. He goes from, in the Broncos press conference after the game, he says, well, obviously you have to get a foot in bounds. It can't be just an elbow. And then the clip cuts the next day, and he says, I misinterpreted the rule. I'm sorry. I need to do better at my job. It's one thing I need to improve on. And then after more questions get asked, he just says he misspoke and he knew the rule all along. I don't know what was going on. It's just like a circle of events there. And another thing I want to touch on is the disaster at the end of half in the Colts game. It's just hilarious. The commentators are roasting the Titans the entire time this is going on. They're like, what are you doing here if you're a head coach here? And they said it's absolutely pitiful and mind-boggling what they're doing. And then I think at one point that the boos were so loud you can hear it on screen. And then one of the commentators was like, wow, listen to the boos come in here. And then the other guy says, well, it's absolutely right. They should be booing. This is ridiculous. If you're a Titans fan, you need to let your voice be heard. It's just hilarious to me that NFL commentators are being this open about stuff like that. But
Yeah.
that's my thoughts on that. I do want to thank y'all for watching the first ever Titan Talk Awards. Be back next week. Not sure what in the world we're going to have planned since there's no Titan stuff, but we will figure out something. So we will be back next week doing some type of Titans content, maybe a quiz, maybe just talking about head coaching the whole time. We'll figure that out shortly and get that to y'all. Thank y'all for watching the first ever Titan Talk Awards, and we will see y'all next time.